Hi, Liza. Thank you for hopping on with me. I want to ask you, questions about your experience. And you went through our entire 8-week guided study program, and from start to finish. I know you entrenched in our online course as well. So, just wanted to ask, what is it that brought you to this point? What made you want to invest in real estate? You have a fantastic career in advertising. What made you feel like you wanted to also start investing in real estate?
It started with a lot of your Instagram posts, first and foremost, just the education alone, and realizing that, and even from the first conversation or the first class, um, not only real estate, but just how embarrassed to say this, but financially illiterate, I really felt I was, and all of the benefits that come with other opportunities. Yes, I have a great career, but there's got to be more to it than that. I wanted more passive income. I wanted to have options. I want to have options. So I think when you're kind of in that 9 to 5, or nothing's really 9 to 5 anymore, but when you're in that world and you feel like you have no other options, it's daunting. So really wanted other opportunities, and just watching you and your growth and everything, it was just so interesting and intriguing and seems tangible.
Mhm.
At my age and with X amount of years in a certain profession behind me, you don't think that there's anything else you can do without stopping and starting from scratch. But this was like the first time I felt like I have options.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
it.
Most people do it on the side. Most
Yeah,
people don't quit their job right when they
exactly.
buy their first property. That's
Exactly.
not how it works. So, no, I love that. I love it. Can you go back to when you started the program? Like, how were you feeling about real estate, about, you know, kind of where you were in terms of that?
I was so overwhelmed. It just not just dialing into that first call. I was like, this is crazy. I know nothing about this. Now, again, I have a property, an investment property by accident, is how we joked about it in the class. And just it was, my first apartment that I bought that I now rent out. But other than that, I had no idea, and really didn't know what stage the other participants were at. So I just really felt like, oh my God, I'm going to be a fish out of water. But so definitely nervous, but it wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like that. I was so comfortable, and I think the materials really helped being able to prep. So I didn't know what to expect from the first call, but being able to really prep, I think the materials provided um, were just the right amount. So I didn't feel bogged down. I didn't feel like I had to commit hours upon hours, but it really prepped me for the conversations and snowballed into more and more questions, and I felt more prepared for the calls. So at first I was so overwhelmed. I knew nothing. And, I'm at a place now where I mentioned this to the team before is, I feel like I speak a different language in 8 weeks.
You
And,
do. I
and
was so proud of you when I shared an apartment building that I'm investing in, and I felt like I could spit off all the lingo, and you knew exactly what I was saying, and I didn't have to stop and explain it, and that was exciting for me even.
yeah,
um,
I can't, right. I can't believe it. And so, and just speaking to other people now, and now it's, I guess, the universe does this, but it's everywhere.
yeah, yep.
Now I meet people who have investment properties or do a little like passive investing here, and it's everywhere. So just kind of manifesting it, but I understand it. And when I don't understand, like if I understand 90% of, if I'm listening to a podcast or something like that, then I'm learning that 10%, and it keeps building. So
I'm so
yeah.
glad you found the modules helpful for you to be able to take the module from the online course and then come to the meeting each week prepared with what we're going to talk about and with that base knowledge. That's really great.
The modules were fantastic. I really felt like you weren't speaking at us or at me. Um, it was almost like a dialogue, because as I'm going through, I would pause something and write down. I was like, "Oh, I'm in class. I'm going to ask this question," and then I'd hit play again, and that question was answered. So it was really, really intuitive, and you anticipated, I think, every aspect. And again, not knowing anything terminology, I didn't have to do any other research or come in with any other experience or knowledge base. So the modules were super helpful, and like I said, totally manageable. I found myself, I have 30 minutes free today. Let me log on. Or let me just do 10 minutes today. And it was in a week's time, very manageable. I have 3 children, and I have a demanding job, and I'm still able to do it. So loved it.
I love that. Thank you for that perspective. That's really great. Okay, so how now? You're sitting here now, you've gone through the modules. How has this helped you move your real estate journey forward?
Oh, I've made a lot of progress in terms of everything has been mapped out now, and speaking with, building my team, let's say perhaps a new accountant, talking to my current accountant, maybe a new one, getting my accredited certifications ready, talking to property managers, and just online researching markets and just playing around in my spare time. That's what I'm doing. Where are markets? What's happening? Just taking it all in. Because I want to move soon. The biggest obstacle for me right now is getting the finances in place to be able to, if I had them ready to go, I would be, either be purchasing a property right now. So that is the last piece of the puzzle, obviously an important one, but I feel ready. And I'm sure I'm gonna be nervous but I think the examples that you and Lindsay gave and just knowing that there are gonna be hiccups and there are gonna be nothing's perfect and it will all be a learning experience. I have to dive in, like, and I'm ready for it. Like if a mistake here or there, you learn, but I want to dive in.
Well, and you'll also be able to call me if you,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's going on. Just,
Right.
who to call. And that's another benefit of doing a program like this is you have all that base knowledge. So anything on top of that, you know who to call. And that's
Yeah.
huge.
And that's what I found, and even on the calls, like here, when we would get together in class and just hearing everybody was at different stages, and, we've had 2 people now, closing, on the verge of closing, we're not a big class, so 2 people. So it was, really exciting, and knowing that they bounce things off of you, and hearing you and Lindsay, give them kind of negotiation tactics and things like that, to things you never think of. And you and I have had those conversations, you can know the formula, but then there's all these other aspects that the color and the context that you brought to, um, why you like certain properties, why you like certain markets, like all these things that, are not in the books necessarily, but through your experience. So your experience in Lindsay's was invaluable, and I think that was the most important because it's real life. It's not a book.
How would you say the group setting helped you? There's a lot of self-study courses out there. We even sell our online course just on its own. But how would you say the group setting was beneficial?
Well, I loved the idea of the modules and then us getting together. Um, and again, everybody was at, different stages, but it was the right amount of people. I mean, it was a great group. I'm sure you curated that, carefully. And so everybody was there for the same reason. And again, just more experience
Mhm.
and understanding where and everyone else's careers and how everybody has, so many in the medical field, somebody abroad, like at 3 a.m., like that was really motivating to say, like, we can all do this. Like, there's nothing to say, like, so that was really motivating. And I think there was a camaraderie and where everyone was rooting for each other. But the questions that other people were asking too were just as healthy and beneficial. Like, "Hmm, I didn't think of that," or "Great, now I learned something else." So I really liked it. I liked the group and I liked learning from them as well.
So, what would you say to someone who's contemplating joining our next cohort? And if you recommend it, why?
I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Why I would recommend it to everyone, even if you're not sure about, investing, or right, you think that you need to have millions of dollars in the bank or all this free time and you can't, it really was for 8 weeks. I can't believe how much I learned. It flew by. I can't believe how much I learned. It has put me on a different trajectory, which I'm so excited for. There would really be no reason. Even if you miss a class, and I had to miss 2 of them for, other work, obligations, and they're recorded, have access to you after the call for any follow-up questions, and really access to the classmates, like the group or whatever, the cohort. So everyone was in it. So I would really say they could not possibly give me a reason why they couldn't or wouldn't do it. I think it's phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience. I'm so excited that you told me about it and I was able to join. Truly, and I told you this every week, but yeah, I would recommend it to everyone and anyone.